Yo guys, it's Vin, and welcome to my Zariel mini guide. Now, the reason why this is a mini guide and not a complete guide is, well, I am not much of a Zariel player. I am a bow main and I am a Gauntlets enjoyer, but I'm not a Zariel player. And the reason why I felt obligated to make this guide is, well, one, there were like 7 unique people who asked me to make a Zariel guide. Wow, I didn't know that many people out there actually played this guy, and also the fact that by the time this is released, there's going to be a new Zariel skin out for the 2021 Heatwave event, and I think it's a great time to make this guide. A lot of people are going to pick him up, and especially because of the skin. All right, anyway, let's just get into the stances. In my opinion, there are really only 2 stances you should opt into, and these are all of them. Don't go this one. Okay, of course the main one I'm going to suggest, as always, is speed. For any 4-speed legend, you want at least 5, especially for a character like Zariel who has bow and gauntlets that are very heavily dependent on movement. You can go into defense to get 6-3, 8-4. If you're comfortable playing low speed, I would recommend trying this out, especially in 2v2 when speed doesn't really matter as much. You can have your teammates to cover for you a lot, but generally overall the best pick is still speed. You're going to have Brawlhalla stats 6-4, 7-5. You're an absolute tank. We're gonna start with Gauntlet Dsig because I think it's the best Gauntlet Dsig. Oh my god, that is so loud. Let me turn that down for you guys. Gauntlet Dsig is extremely fast. It hits really close, not exactly stacked, but like maybe around this area is like the closest you're going to be able to hit it. If you do a dash, you can cover like half of Brawlhalla, which is really good. The hitbox starts as you're throwing the little disc of light out. So if someone is like constantly dashing back and forth, you can kind of like check them just like you do with like sword or axe. You throw out an endlet, you just kind of dash side sig them and to check them. This sig is also pretty good for baiting on the edge just because of the fact that it's so safe. Like you're so far away when doing this. My only gripe with it is that you take a little step forward. Something that I hear a lot of people mention about this sig is that it's a 1 frame confirm out of D-Light. However, that's only until like light orange. If you go into like red health where this will actually be useful, like as a kill confirm if they don't have a dodge, that's 3 frames. That is definitely jumpable. This is also really good in 2v2 just because of the fact that side sig, it hits right in front of you. So if your teammate has something like sword, that'll hit the opponent right into you, you can do a side sig. And if you see the angle, it sends at a pretty similar angle to like axe or hammer endlight. So if you have a move like Brawlhalla axe Nsig or like Brawlhalla sword Nsig, that'll cover right out of Zariel Gauntlet Dsig. Alright guys, now let's talk about Gauntlet Nsig. This move is a big slam. It's very similar to Brawlhalla Axe Nsig and Core Gauntlet Nsig in the fact that it hits at like this 45-degree angle, except this one actually moves you quite a bit. This Sig is also really good for returning back to stage because of how far you move, not to mention the fact that if you do a GC Nsig and actually catch your opponent, you're going to go under the stage, and I'm sure you guys have all seen this before, stage spike them with the Nsig and like kill them in yellow. This Sig is also really good for reverse slide charging, because I mean, you can do that. And just like the side Sig, the hitbox comes out like as you're moving. So it's fairly easy to hit this move if you're reverse slide charging it on the edge. Just make sure that you're not releasing it too early, because again, the hitbox doesn't come out in those first few frames. You need to wait a little bit. So if you're reverse slide charging it, you want to wait. You want to fall quite a bit. This Dsig is really not as good for reading out of sidelight as you think it would be. I mean, the only one that I found it to be really effective for reading out of is up and out dodge. Like, let's say they do a regular right dodge, this literally just won't catch. It's really annoying. Just go for a GC sidelight. It's much safer and it's much quicker. One situation that you can use this to read out of your light attacks is kind of one I copied from Brawlhalla Axe and Core Gauntlets, where if you do like this, you do an end light to send them off stage, and then a lot of times their reaction is to try and either dodge down, or they're going to try and go up again if they're on like yellow to orange. So if they're on yellow to orange, they get sent out, you do an end light, and then you reverse slide charge a side sig. A lot of times this will catch people who get sent out and they try to dodge immediately inwards to the wall or something. Alright, now I want to quickly talk about his Gauntlet Dsig. In my opinion, this sig really isn't super good. It covers a good area, but I feel like there's just other characters have way better sigs for this purpose, like Core Gauntlet Dsig. But anyway, Gauntlet Dsig on Zariel is really good GC. It has a really low hitbox. It hits stacked and everything. So if you want to do a down dodge read, yeah. This Sig is also pretty good for team comboing, however, definitely not as good as side Sig, just because of the fact that if you do a D-Sig, this will send them directly upwards, which doesn't really give you much room for more combos off your teammate. But yeah, this move's main use is definitely as like an option, like if someone's coming at you, you dodge into a GC D-Sig. That's really effective. Alright guys, now let's talk about his bow Sigs. We're going to start with Bow Nsig. This Sig is so slept on. People say it's not good just because of the fact that it doesn't flow into your moves really at all. However, I'm going to show you why that doesn't really matter. If you're on the edge and you're edge guarding someone who you know will not go right into you, and there's someone who likes to recover high, you can throw an Nsig completely for free. And it has so many active frames, so your opponent is forced to go around it. If they dodge into it, they're probably going to get hit by it, and if they don't get hit by it, as they're coming out of the dodge, you just sidelight into a dash jump dare, which is a confirm, because, you know, they don't have a dodge. This move is also fairly good when you reverse slide charge it, just because of the fact that if you do hit this move, it will spike them like that. The one place where this move does really shine out of your light attacks is as a jump read out of side light. If you know your opponent is going to jump, this is definitely like the most optimal. Alright guys, now let's talk about Bow Side Sig. Bow Side Sig in combination with Bow Nsig, it gives Zariel what I call Diana Syndrome. Diana Syndrome is when you have a bow legend that can cover a 50-50, or even like Kaya, like a 33% chance, like rock, paper, scissors out of sidelight using their Sigs. Like I already talked about jump reads, cover it with Nsig. Now, if you do a sidelight into a side Sig, this will cover like every down dodge and in dodge, and every horizontal dodge depending on their health. Not to mention that both of these Sigs actually spike. Also, Bow Side Sig moves you so far, so like let's say I do a sidelight and then I miss this move. If I end up off stage like this, how are they going to punish me? I'm all the way out here. I can either return to the wall with my insane bow recovery that will take priority over literally anything, or I can recover high. This move is also super good GC. Like if I dodge another person's bow D-light or someone's like really low hitting move like sword D-light, I just do a quick GC into a side Sig. This will spike them and send you into a really easy edge guard situation. You'll notice that with a lot of Zariel Sigs, they all send downwards, which is really dumb because on both of his weapons they have insane offstage potential. So sending him off stage is very ideal for this character. Finally, we have Bow Dsig. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will agree with me when I say that Bow Dsig really isn't the best thing in the world. I mean, you can't even slide charge it, which is kind of disappointing. You can use it as a GC, which is pretty good. In my opinion, the only real use for this Sig that I can think of is if someone doesn't have a dodge and they're on the bottom side of this map. Like, let's say you hit them with a ground pound, right? And then after you ground pound, you immediately do a GC Dsig to catch a jump, and this will kill them in literally orange. If the ground pound doesn't already kill them in orange.